ceremony for the Wareham High School Athletic Hall of Fame. My name is Peter Valverini, and just as a little background, the Hall of Fame that started in 1989 inducted 6 athletes and 1 coach. After the initial induction ceremony, the hall went dark for like 24 years. It wasn't done again. In 2013, Principal Scott Palladino, along with a dedicated group of committee members, brought the Hall of Fame back to life and made it an annual tradition. That was until it was interrupted again by the COVID epidemic. The ceremony returned in 2022 rather, and there were ceremonies for both years, the one that was missed and the year 2022. So they did 2 years, 21 and 22 that year. After the last induction was held, the committee decided to hold the induction ceremony every 2 years rather than annually. So that brings us up to today. So that brings us to the 11th induction ceremony. I've been very fortunate to be part of this, other than the first one I attended, but I've been the speaker, so to speak, since the Hall of Fame was brought back. And in my own personal background, I've had the privilege to have taught in Wareham for 35 years. And during that time, I was a teacher, a coach, a fan, a parent of my own 2 Viking athletes. And I've attended countless Wareham High School games in all types over the years. This year, what's kind of interesting is that over the years doing this, there have been people from the 50s, the 60s, and beyond and back. This year, all of the inductees from Tricia Wygant, Patty Wygant, and graduated in 1973, to Aaron Struthers, who graduated in 2007, and everybody in between fall exactly within the 35 years that I was a teacher at the high school. So for me personally, it's really it's a fun night because everybody that's here were in the school when I was there teaching. So I would, it's just a great thing for me, a great night to be here, and I really appreciate the opportunity. Before we start dinner and the actual induction ceremonies after dinner, first of all, we'd like to ask if there are any members that have been inducted to the Wareham High School Hall of Fame. If you'd be so kind as to stand up so we can give you a round of applause. I know there are a few of you here. There, I will say. I'd also like to, most of the time at these things, you do it at the end of the thing and everybody's all done and they want to leave and take pictures and all that. But I'd like to acknowledge the members of the committee first before we start, so that we can give those folks who put this on tonight the appropriate acknowledgement as well. First and foremost, I want to thank Scott Palladino. As I said, he was the one that instigated the return of the hall, along with Mary Jane Bristol, who's been with it since it came back. Also on the committee are Joseph Fernandez Jr., Lynn Spinola, Bill LaFava, Brett Jordan, Howard Amato Johnson, Peter Sylvia, and Jim Grigioli, who's been on the committee again since the inception of the return. I would like to keep my remarks brief tonight, as I've learned from doing this over the years since the Hall of Fame was brought back, that nobody, with the exception of maybe my wife, really wants to hear me say a lot of stuff tonight. So I will be very brief in introducing people and saying anything beyond this a little at the end. But I also want to mention the fact that since we were here last, the Wareham High School boys basketball teams have won back-to-back state titles. I'd like to congratulate Coach Steve Faniel and his team for this incredible achievement for the school. And I believe, before we begin to indulge in this delicious meal, committee member Phil LaFave has a few remarks he wants to make, and then we'll eat, and then we'll get on with the show.
Thank you, Peter. You hear me? On, that's on. My remarks are gonna be brief, and I'm just up here, I'm gonna be begging for money. In your program book, you got a sheet like this. Basically what this is an online store. You can order logo, Wareham Athletic Hall of Fame, different items of apparel. The money raised comes back to the Hall of Fame committee. We are in the process of trying to set up a permanent place in the high school. We've got a big sign ready to go up. We need money to be able to fund the plaques that are gonna go on there with every inductee's name. So it works real simple. Unless you're a Luddite, if you don't know about a QR code, there is a website you can go to. You can pick out an item of clothing. It's only open for 2 weeks. Order what you want, pay for it with your credit card. Unfortunately, you probably won't take delivery until after Christmas. And this is something we'll do annually, but just so you know what that's for, we kind of operate on a shoestring, and while I'm at it, we got some nice raffle items in the 50/50, so if you get a chance at the end, we'll be up there selling those again also. Thank you in advance.
When I was up here before, the microphone wasn't working, so I'm gonna have to say everything I said over again. No, that's not gonna be the case. I asked to remind everybody that the raffle is still ongoing, and we appreciate all the support we can get for the raffle. Now, to begin tonight's festivities, we will start with Patricia Wygant. Patty Wygant played field hockey, basketball, and ran track in 1973. And here to introduce Patty is my friend and yours, Pam Franklin.
Patricia Pat, we called her Patty Wygant, was one of the best female athletes of the early 70s at Wareham High School. Graduating in 1973, Pat participated in 4 years of spring track and 4 years of basketball, the only 2 sports offered for females athletes until Title IX was enacted in 1973. That fall, yes, for Title IX. Prior to Title IX, girls basketball was 6-on-6. 3 players in the back court, 3 players in the front court. Pat was a tenacious defender and rebounder who was often plagued with knee problems. Where Patty really excelled was as a field event specialist in spring track. As a freshman, she broke the school record in the javelin with a throw of 120 feet, 9.5 inches. Over her high school career, she continued to break her own records and placed second twice at the state meet and third once, culminating with a throw of over 128 feet. In her sophomore year, Pat broke the school record in shot put, which was then held by her sister Linda with a toss of 36 feet, 5 inches. That same year, she shattered the discus record with a throw of 96.9 and ended her career with a 101-10 throw. These records held up for many, many years after her graduation. Any high school track coach will tell you how valuable it is to have an athlete take first place in an event. For 4 years, Patty consistently placed first in all 3 throwing events. That's like 15 points, I think. As a kid growing up, I can always remember when you picked kids to play on your team, the first thing that you heard was, "I choose Patty. She was great at whatever she did." But not so great when it came time to picking sides for spelling bees. Pat had a number of undiagnosed learning disabilities, including dyslexia, that was uncovered when she attended Cape Cod Community College. With correct diagnosis, persistence, and hard work, she graduated with an associate's degree and continued her education at UMass Amherst, graduating summa cum laude in the, as a Commonwealth Scholar. Continuing on to the Graduate School of Education, Pat received her Master's of Education in Counseling Psychology in 1987. Pretty good for a community college kid. While at UMass, she was on the women's bowling team, receiving an award for a 279 game at the sectionals in St. Louis. After college, she continued her athletics, excelling in community softball and league bowling until her knees finally gave out. Professionally, she retired as the Director of Professional Services, working for the State of Delaware's Division of Developmental Disabilities. It is an honor and a pleasure to introduce a great athlete, a kind and compassionate individual who came all the way from Delaware for induction into Wareham High School's Athletic Hall of Fame, my classmate, Patricia Wygant.
Totally unexpected. Just one day heard something and it's like, it's gone from there. I lived for sports. I was not an academic person, and that was pretty well known. But sports, that's what I used to. I loved sports, and I continued them through most of my adult life. Had to sort of live up to years ago, but very, very happy. You know, softball, the track, the basketball. I played basketball at Greenfield Community College. I'm just really happy with what has happened. I'm proud of what happened, and I'm glad I was at Wareham High to do it. So thank you, Pam. Thank you to the committee. Thank you to everybody here.
Congratulations, Patty, and it's great to see you back in town. Next up on the agenda is a outstanding basketball and track athlete, Terry Meehan, who will be introduced by her coach, Bob Rojek. Bob, if you come on down.
It's an honor and a pleasure for me to be here this evening to introduce Terry Meehan. Terry truly epitomized the meaning of a scholar athlete. Academically, she was an outstanding student, member of the National Honor Society, president of the senior class. Athletically, goes without saying, she was a tremendous track and field star, as well as basketball. My first recollections of Terry was as a middle school student, participating at the high school level with the freshman track team. Being the varsity track coach at that time, I was then able to have her on our team, grades 9 through 12, where she earned her varsity letter each and every year. In her sophomore year, she was part of the track team that won the South Coast Conference with a 12-1 record, as well as earning All-Star selection in the conference. In her junior year, she kind of dabbled in the relay also, and her team set the school record at that time in the relay. As a senior, she had an outstanding year. She set the record. I can remember her working to break that record. She finally did it in her senior year with a time of 60.0 seconds. A record which then stood for over 25 years before it was broken. She also set the javelin record with a throw of 128 feet, 6 inches, and that record still stands today. So, a tremendous effort by her there. She then went on to the state meet and placed fourth in the javelin at the states, and then onward to New Hampshire to participate in the New England, where she placed seventh. Great career, track and field. I was also lucky enough to see her perform on the basketball court. I was the JV girls coach in her junior and senior year. And Terry Leonard in her sophomore, junior, senior seasons were earning conference all-star selection as our starting guard in her junior, senior years, averaging nearly 12 points a game. Our team in the sophomore year was the first Wareham girls team to get to the state divisional semifinals, only to lose, but they did a great effort to get there. Then in her junior, senior year, they made it all the way to the finals, just one game away from going to the garden, but they lost those 2 years to a Foxborough team. After graduation, Terry went on to the University of New Hampshire, where she was a walk-on of the basketball team, eventually finding her way to a scholarship. With academic degrees from the University of New Hampshire and from George Mason University, Terry's professional life began with employment by the U.S. Department of Defense. And she continues working until today. I don't know how you do it, with various federal agencies. All of this while a marriage, 3 kids, 1 grandson, helped keep her growing. With all that being said, I can truly say that she was an outstanding athlete and student. But more than that, in my 38 years, I beat Peter's been 35 years there. 38 years of teaching and coaching here. She was one of the greatest role models to graduate from Wareham High School. With that being said, Terry, all yours.
Good evening to everybody. I want to thank the committee for recognizing me and remembering me after all these years, and to Coach for such a kind introduction. I haven't seen Coach in quite a while, but I have a lot of great memories of running and playing for him. And it's great to see you. Coach's style was one that was very even keeled and calm, and put the onus on the athlete. He was more of a mentor style coach. He was not a yeller, which, by the way, greatly underprepared me for my college basketball. Coach didn't have to yell. He just had a way of giving us a look. And if we really thought we couldn't run one more sprint, somehow or another, his look, we would feel guilty and we would manage to run one more sprint. I also want to thank my family. My husband and 2 boys are here tonight. Made the trip up from Virginia. Unfortunately, my daughter's family was not able to be here due to an illness, but I know she's very disappointed to not be here tonight. My father and sister and friends are also here tonight, and I appreciate them taking the time and taking a bit of a journey down memory lane with me. When Joe told me I was being inducted, I was honored. It made me retrospective, and I thought about so many memories and great people that I grew up with, many of whom are here tonight. In gathering information for this, I spent some time going through pictures and memorabilia. My mother was one of Wareham's biggest cheerleaders, and saved quite a few articles from all of our sports teams. And I was glad I had kept them after she passed. I'd be remiss not to mention my mother, Marilyn Creek, who many of you knew. She was a crazy bus driver. That my teammates loved to have us drive to our games. Like, Carla, everyone knew when we had won and we arrived back in town, as she loved the horn on the bus. We could sing and cheer as loud as the coaches would tolerate, so eventually it just became the norm and not as embarrassing as it was originally. I was fortunate growing up in Wareham, where sports meant so much to the community, but that wasn't always the case. As was already mentioned, growing up before high school, there weren't many sports available for girls. We had dance classes, and we had Tiger football cheerleading, which, if anybody remembers my nickname from high school, Grace, neither of those were an option for me. So that left Little League. But girls didn't play Little League until 1976, when my father, Val Creek, and a few of the other coaches allowed girls to try out. A few of us tried out and broke into Little League as the first girls to be drafted and were put on different teams. Even with a girl pitcher on our Tremont team, we were able to win the championship that year. In the fall, we were in 7th grade, and the high school did not have enough girls to field the freshman basketball team, so a few of us were invited to play for coaches Eddie Rose and Sue Alekas, and that's when I fell in love with basketball. Great coaches and teammates had a lot to do with my love of sports. I was a better runner than basketball player, but I loved playing with a team and found that far more rewarding than the individual accolades. There was nothing better than beating the larger schools we played, especially New Bedford. I had an uncle who reffed a lot of high school sports and had never been able to ref one of my games. But my senior year, he drew our New Bedford game at New Bedford. And I think in an effort to not show favoritism, I think he overcompensated. And if I recall, I almost fell out of that game. As much as I loved sports growing up, whether it was pickup basketball, hockey on the bogs, or running, it was the life lessons that I took away from sports that served me well over all these years. The work ethic and dedication it took to improve and get better has always stayed with me. Seeing all the hard work your team puts in come to fruition as your team gelled was fantastic. I was fortunate to have good coaches in Wareham, not just because they knew the game, but because they enjoyed coaching and cared about the players. Leadership, setting an example, holding yourself to a certain standard because you don't want to let your teammates down. All lifelong skills that still matter. I'm sure I drove my kids crazy as I told them, if you don't want to put the effort in to do it right, don't bother doing it. Once you start, you have to finish. You can't quit on your team. Playing sports taught me discipline, leadership, and sacrifice for those you care about. I learned from tough losses and the joys of success. Although my kids don't all share the same love of sports that I did, I'm holding out hope for my grandson. I'm pretty sure they all understand why we stress hard work and discipline, how it matters through all aspects of life, and how it's played a part in their successes. My daughter was recently frustrated at work and told me she was mad at me. She was mad at me for making her care about how much she did her job correctly. So I think we got the message across. As I grew up in Wareham, graduated from UNH, and started to feel like I needed more, see what outside of Wareham could offer, what else was out there, and I did. I trekked across Europe on a solo backpack trip, moved to Connecticut for my first professional job, and then on to the DC area for a couple of years after that. My life changed as I got married, had my first child, and moved overseas to Senegal. We had 2 more children and eventually lived in Munich and Moscow, before settling in North Virginia, where I've lived for over 25 years. But something happened along the way. I missed home. Even though I've lived in Virginia longer than I have to live in Wareham, I still refer to this as home, as my husband will attest. I left Wareham, but it always remained a part of me and who I am. I reconnected with some of the old gang a number of years ago and found they're still the same great people I had left. We talked easily and laughed at shared memories. We looked different, but we're the same. They were all the same, down to earth, great caring people they were when we were all teenagers. We shared a lot of laughs, and home was a good place again. I'm honored to be part of this special community and appreciate being included with these great athletes and coaches. Thank you.
Terry, and congratulations. Next up, we have a member of the class of 1982, Mary Hallway, who is a member of the basketball and volleyball teams, but anybody that knows Mary knows that she was one of the best golfers that we've ever produced from the school. And here to introduce Mary is a PGA member who is the director of the golf of the town of Barnstable, Jesse Scheckman. Jesse?
Good evening, everyone. How about that ride in? I've known Mary for almost 30 years, and over that span of time, we've been connected to each other in a wide spectrum of ways. I first met her in the late 90s. I was on the golf team at Barnstable High School, and Mary was the assistant golf pro at Old Barnstable Fairgrounds, our home course. She ran a tight ship, and frankly, we were all a little scared of her. Granted, our team was basically a bunch of dopey teenagers trying to get away with anything and everything we could. Fast forward to 2015. She's since moved up to be head golf professional at Old Barnstable Fairgrounds, and I'm hired as the head professional at Hyannis Golf Course, the sister course of Old Barnstable, as they're both owned by the town. Now one of those dopey teenagers has become her peer and colleague. I'm working with, and more importantly, learning from her. Old Barnstable Fairgrounds has consistently been ranked as a top 10 public course in New England, and I'm getting a behind-the-scenes look at exactly why. Her attention to detail, moral compass, and loyalty to staff, it's all part of the recipe. It's no surprise she's a recent Cape Cod PGA Professional of the Year award winner. Fast forward again to present day. I'm now the director of golf for the town of Barnstable, which means I'm now her boss. But I'm still learning from her. That's the one thing that hasn't changed in the last 3 decades. Whether I was a kid on the team, a peer, and now her boss, I've never stopped learning from her. I know tonight's honor is based on athletics, but we've all learned as we've aged that your 40-yard dash time probably isn't what it once was. Your vertical leap might not be so vertical anymore. And your three-point shooting percentage isn't exactly listed on your resume. What really matters is the relationships you've created and the impact you've had on people along the way. I have no doubts that Mary's athletic career at Wareham High School is wildly impressive. But when asked to make this introduction, my first thoughts had nothing to do with points scored, games won, or birdies made. What immediately came to mind is her passion for what she does, her loyalty to those around her, and most importantly, her friendship. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to introduce for the first time as a member of the Wareham High School Hall of Fame, individually, I should say, Mary Hallway.
First of all, I'd like to thank the committee for this honor. It's very important to be up here, not only for me, for my family that's here, my support system. I love you all. I would be remiss not to say that I miss my parents, and I wish they were here, as well as my husband, David, who has passed away, but I wish he was here also. Thank you for my family for coming, I appreciate it. I thought long and hard what to say, and you know, everyone's gonna come up here and say a lot of things, but you know, the things that I've learned here, life skills, including the value of teamwork, important of being a good leader and having goals. It took me a few years to get my goal to become a PGA professional, but to me it's very important, and I'm glad that I did it, and I stayed focused and I did it. I just want everybody here, follow your goals, follow your dreams, and do what you do to make things good. I'm just really proud to call Wareham my home. I would never want to grow up in another place like this. Wareham, it's a special place, and everybody knows that lives here. So thank you, the committee, thank you everyone, I really appreciate it. It's, go Vikings.
Congratulations, Mary. It's good to see you. Up next, we have a member of the class of 1993 who is an outstanding baseball player, Matt Harbour. And here to introduce Matt is his daughter, Grace Harbour. So Grace, if you'd be so kind as to step forward.
Good evening. My name is Grace Harbour, and I'm very proud to be here this evening to introduce my dad and share some of his accomplishments during his time at Wareham High School. Growing up, I had met countless people who knew my dad or had played with him, and I would always hear them say, "Your dad was pretty damn good, kid." These were guys that he had played with or against collegiately all throughout New England, but I never really heard much about his high school career. So when he asked me to introduce him for this ceremony, I got the opportunity to read his athletic bio that was put together. And as a former athlete, high school athlete myself, yes, there were some pretty solid accomplishments. For one, his ERA was 1.03 in 66 innings pitched. And for those of you who don't know baseball, that's fantastic. Second, he struck out 121 batters in 66 innings pitched. That's almost 2 strikeouts per inning pitched throughout the whole season. Incredible. Lastly, this is now his 3rd Hall of Fame induction. The first being the NCAA Little East Conference Hall of Fame, second, University of Southern Maine Hall of Fame, and now Wareham High School Hall of Fame. Pretty good, Dad. But more important than any of these stats or accomplishments mentioned is the time he has spent with my brother and I on and off the field. He has been there for both of us, practicing outside of scheduled practice times, pushing us both to be better at whatever we do, constant encouragement, unconditional love, and he never misses a game. So thank you, Dad. It's a great honor to introduce my dad, Matt Harbour.
Put my readers on here. You know what? Good evening, everybody. I am honored and humbled to be recognized among all of these great athletes. And congratulations to all of you on being inducted into the 2024 Wareham High School Athletic Hall of Fame. So round of applause for all of you athletes. I would like to take a second to thank Joe Fernandez and the committee members here for putting this together and making this truly a special evening, an event for all of us. My athletic and professional accomplishments would not have occurred if it weren't for a few people. So I want to take this opportunity to thank my family, of course, my wife Kathy, my daughter Grace, my son Eli, and my sister Lisa. I especially want to thank my parents Leo and Linda Harbour. Without your consistent support, encouragement, commitment, and love, none of this would have been possible. So thank you very much, and it's an honor. Thank you.
Congratulations, Matt. One of the beauties of this event every year for all of us that have been around for a while is to get a chance to reconnect with not only the athletes that get inducted, but also their families as well. So it's great to see some of the folks around that we've all had to be very friendly with over the years as a result of our connection to the athletics that we're involved with. All right, next we have a gentleman who's very close to my heart, class of 2004, who's been inducted for his accomplishments in baseball and football. This young man's career paralleled my son's career So they were teammates on not only 5 years through the Pop Warner football, and then they were also on the same Little League team. And since then, since that time, they've continued to be very good friends. Here to introduce Anthony Messia is the other half of the dynamic Franklin duo, Mr. Gilbert Dobie Franklin. Dobie?
Good evening, everyone. I would first like to congratulate all the inductees tonight. As you know, this is a very special evening. I enjoy coming here, seeing so many faces and all the athletes, and it's a real great event. My name is Dobie Franklin. I was a player, teacher, and coach at Wareham High School for 35 years, and I'm honored to be presenting the newest member to the Wareham High School Hall of Fame, Anthony Messia. Anthony had an outstanding high school career. His accomplishments in both football and baseball are undeniable. As you browse and look through your program, you can see all the achievements he has done. Just touching on a few, what he achieved as a three-sport athlete is very impressive. In baseball, he was selected for the Standard Time Super Team, 4-year letterman and captain. They just went on and on. Unbelievable stats involving Anthony. In football, I would like to mention just a few of these. As a coach, these football recognitions are very difficult to achieve and are given to the best of the best. He was selected as captain of the Shriners All-Star Football Team. He was selected to the All-State Super Team. He was chosen All-Scholastic in all the major newspapers. And he was inducted into the Eastern Mass Scholastic Hall of Fame. That's just to name a few of the things he has accomplished. Anthony was an outstanding student in high school. He was top 15 in the class of 2004. He was on the honor roll, high honor roll, and received a full academic scholarship to Merrimack. Anthony was well known for his character, leadership qualities, and his willingness to help others. But we are here tonight to talk about the unique impact Anthony had on Wareham football. Anthony excelled in both football and baseball, but his love and passion was for the sport of football. He became a varsity starter his sophomore year and quickly became an impact player. I had the pleasure of coaching him and his brother Paulie, who also were very good. They both loved playing for the Vikings. The town of Wareham has been blessed with many outstanding football players. In football, there are positions that are written, admired, and talked about. They attract many spectators, and the focus is usually on receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, and an occasional linebacker. However, that began to change, because Anthony Messia was a lineman. You couldn't help but notice him all over the field. I knew he was special. He had an unbelievable talent. He was fast, very strong, quick, extremely athletic, and at 5'10", 260 plus pounds, he was a force to be reckoned with. During those years, Wareham was always battling for the South Coast Conference title, and his senior year, they were successful. The defensive unit he played on held the majority of the teams to under 8 points a game. Anthony himself that year had 90 tackles and 18 sacks. I've had many conversations about Anthony with area head coaches and players during and after his years at Wareham. They would spend a lot of time preparing to control and neutralize him, but I have to say they had very little success. However, they all admired and praised him on the way he played the game, hard and physical. He was respected and always a class act on and off the field, whether he was playing either football or baseball. That was the beauty of coaching and watching and knowing Anthony Messia, a great football player, person, and family man. Anthony has not left the game. He is currently an assistant coach at Plymouth High School, and I'm sure his love and passion has not diminished. It was my pleasure to coach him, this fine young man, and to introduce you to Anthony Messia.
I would like to start off by thanking the Wareham Hall of Fame Committee for selecting me for such a prestigious honor. Being in the Wareham Hall of Fame means so much to me because of how much I love this town. And it's molding me into the person I am today. There were so many individuals that played an intricate role in setting the foundation for achieving this milestone. I would like to thank all the coaches I had for all my time as an athlete in Wareham. Thank you for your tutelage and guidance for the sports I love and helping a young kid come of age. For teaching me to never acquiesce in the face of adversity and complacency, but most importantly, to take accountability for my transgressions and mistakes. This not only helped me reach my potential as an athlete, but also as a student and as a man. I've carried these lessons with me to this day and are cornerstones in my approach to life and how I parent my own children. After becoming a varsity coach for the first time myself, I realized how much you guys sacrificed for our benefit and made me so much more appreciative of what you guys did for us. I would also like to thank my teammates for all the memories we created together and the friendships we forged that will last forever. The camaraderie of our team and the culture that was present is what made playing high school football at Wareham so special. Chanting Valhalla's prayer and running out of the pit with my brothers on this playing field under the Friday night lights with the town watching and cheering was nothing short of surreal. We had a great time celebrating our victories together, but most importantly in defeat, we picked each other up, held each other accountable, and never let it affect our bond. That is what made such a successful team. Monday through Friday, we put our bodies on the line for the success of the team, to protect each other, and for the pride of the town that we love. And I am forever grateful I was able to share those memories with you guys. I would like to give a special shout out to two men who cannot be here today. My father Paul and my brother Paulie. You guys are the conduit to my athletic career, my mentors and my role models. I love you and miss you guys, and thank you for everything, and you guys will always be in my heart. And lastly, I want to thank the most important woman in my life, my beautiful mother. Your tireless work ethic and selflessness inspired me to strive to be the best version of myself at whatever I did, just so I could make you proud. Despite working 50 hours a week, caring for an ailing husband, and supporting our family emotionally and financially, you were always there at every game, no matter how far, as my biggest supporter and my biggest critic. You showed me what unconditional love truly is. And although I can never repay you for all that you did, I want to take this opportunity to use my platform and give you the acknowledgement you deserve. So if everyone could stand up and give a round of applause to that person that this moment truly belongs to, my heart, my rock, my mother, Donna Smith. Love you, Mama.
Congratulations, Anthony. That was a very heartfelt speech, and we all enjoyed it greatly. Next, we have a young man who was from the Wareham High School class of 2007, and he is, as you will see, a great basketball player for the Wareham High School Vikings. And here to introduce Mr. Aaron Struthers is his mom, Dawn. Come on up. Well, we have double. That's twice the fun. You go right ahead. No problem.
Thank you. All right, so I'm the talker of the family, so I'll be doing a majority of it. Yes, you know what I'm saying, right? All right, so it is an honor to stand in front of this whole room to hear and introduce my brother, my role model, Aaron Struthers, into this Hall of Fame. Today marks the day that we are all going to remember. Today marks the day that you finally did it, bro. You're getting the recognition that you deserve. in Wareham. Aaron's love for basketball, and I apologize, I didn't print it. So, Aaron's love for basketball started at a very young age, starting with JVA. Aaron was a standout in this sport, the tallest kid on the court, still probably the tallest kid in the room. It is just amazing to see how much Aaron has grown in the sport. He was an all-time leading scorer, scoring 12-25, 45 in a single game, rebounds. He was just doing everything, and it was simply amazing to watch him grow as a freshman to not really playing much to starting and then to being a captain for the last 2 years where he just led everybody into greatness. They brought him to the championships, and I'll tell you this much, I was there, and that was a packed gym. And his dunks, everything was just amazing. After high school, Aaron didn't get what he wanted right then and there. He traveled over to Marianapolis Prep School, where he continued his greatness there in Connecticut, getting his final, I guess you could say, offer to Merrimack College, where he went and played 4 years there and did his thing while he was there. And after that, he just didn't want to give it up. He then went over to Costa Rica and Cape Verde, played over there. And I know a lot of you may know, he just went back to Costa Rica 10 years later and still playing at 35 years old. And he's doing everything that he could be doing. He has 2 little ones that look up to him so much, and he started Village Hoops, which is a nonprofit organization that gives back to the community, and it's all funded around basketball. So I'm going to pass it over to my mom so she can say something.
Hi. So I didn't think that I'd be able to stand up here and do this without crying. And that's why I had Asia come up here with me to do this, to recognize Aaron. Most people only dream of meeting their favorite basketball player. I raised mine. Please take care. I knew I wouldn't be able to do it. I knew I wouldn't be able to do it. Aaron, I'm so proud of you. I really am. I'm always going to be your biggest fan. You're my hero. And I said I was going to say, I don't want you to ever forget, not even for a moment, how truly amazing you are as a human being, as a son, as an uncle, a brother. I love you with all my heart, and I'm honored to present you with this award. And I welcome Aaron Struthers.
Good evening, everyone. This up a little bit. Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. Thank you for the committee for inducting me into the Hall of Fame. It's definitely a pleasure and an honor to be here. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my family for their continued support in this basketball journey that I'm still going strong with. Whether I'm coaching, playing, refereeing, training some little first graders, basketball is my path, and I have no plans on stopping. So thank you for that continued support. Just to share one thing, like when I was in high school at Wareham freshman year, I wasn't the first one moved up to varsity, and that was a great teaching point for me. There were 2 other kids in my class that got moved up to JV, and then they got moved up to varsity, so I was kind of the 3rd in line, and I just used that as fuel and motivation to keep on working, and eventually I broke records, and we were undefeated my senior and junior year, so that was great. But that lesson came back around when I went to college, and I chose Merrimack College after prep school, and that freshman year, I didn't play that much. So it's like you go from being a big star in your hometown and to riding the bench. So that was a learning point, but I remembered that freshman year when, you know, maybe not everyone believed in me as much as I believed in myself, maybe not as much as my family believed in me. So I grinded it out, and that my sophomore year at college actually ended up starting over a senior. So that was a big accomplishment for me now that I'm back on the court, and you know, just continue playing. But definitely to anyone, you know, just most importantly, believe in yourself and have that confidence. And so thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Congratulations, Aaron. And that's the final individual inductee among the student athletes. Next, we are about to induct a Wareham High School coach, Coach Dan Knoll, who's a football coach at Wareham for many years, and a good friend, of course. And to introduce Dan, there's another former football coach and good friend, Mr. Dave Harrison.
Hi, everybody. I have some thank yous I'd like to say too. First of all, I want to thank Danny for letting me introduce him. That was a real kick me up when he asked me to do it. So thank you for that. The committee, thanks for inducting him. Nobody more deserving than Danny Knoll. And congratulations to the nominees, Aaron and Anthony. Out of everybody here that was inducted, I saw you play. Aaron, yeah, that was pretty entertaining. I'll tell you that. Mezia, you were a beast. And you just brought back a memory for me that was unbelievable. I go, remember the scrimmage? I went back to Holland to help try to build us up again. So I said, Danny and Gil, can we scrimmage? I know you're going to kick the crap out of us, but. So he was nice to us. We came over, and guess who's playing nose guard? Anthony. I got to see him play. I said it was like 2 or 3 plays. I said, you take him out or we can't have a scrimmage. I mean, he was unbelievable. Anthony says to me tonight, he goes, yeah, I'm so mad at you. I wanted to impress you because you were the coach and I wanted to show you what. I said, we wouldn't have had this, like you were like, what a player you were. And last person I want to thank is my wife. She's been to a lot of banquets, 42 years of 4 sports. And Anthony, if I have her stand up like you and give her applaud for like you did your mom, I'd be sleeping at Dan Knoll's tonight. But thank you, Dan, so much. I appreciate it. I'd like to flashback to 1993 when I first met Danny. But as a side note, I always believed that Gil Franklin should have been the head coach, and Danny and I should have been his loyal assistants. I mean, Gil Franklin's unbelievable. Anyway, my greatest blessing of spending time in Wareham was being associated with these 2 great educators, Dan and Gil. These 2 great men taught me so many wonderful and gracious attributes dealing with many young people. Their God-driven mannerisms and fatherly personalities was such a grand sight to witness, behold on a daily basis. But tonight is all about Dan Knoll. When I first met Coach Knoll, I found out he was a University of Rhode Island running back in the day, something Gil and I took a little exception to, since we played for UMass Amherst in Maine. So really we were rivals a little bit at the beginning. Showing which better get the conference coach, I guess, right there, I don't know. Then I discovered that Dan had 2 master's degrees. Yes, 2, not 1. 2, physical education and special education. Next, he was a special education teacher and department head at Wareham High School. And then to top it all off, he's a carpenter like our Savior, Jesus Christ. I said, man, I'm gonna learn something from this guy. I'm hanging out with him. Because I tell you, he's unbelievable. I came to a great realization. I can really learn something special from Dan Knoll. And yes, I did. A true amazing and outstanding resume, to say the least, Danny. So what did he do with all of this that maybe some of you don't know about? First of all, he put together a weight room that is still being used, I believe. Secondly, he renovated the track building by constructing 2 classrooms for an alternative detention program. Thirdly, he coached for 22 years, 5 as an assistant and 17 as the head coach. Then in his spare time, he maintains athletic fields in his hometown of Fairhaven. That's why we can never go out anymore. Every time I call him, hey, what are you doing? Can you do it? Nah, I'm cutting grass at the Little League field. So that's the type of person, Danny is at. Plus, he's got 2 boys in college. So honestly, he has no time for himself at all. That's Danny. Honestly, I can tell you, he's a saint. To me, he's a saint anyways, I know that. But this Rhode Island native with this sometime quirky little accent has put in countless hours of dedication and service to the youth of Wareham, which is only parallel to, yes, Gil Franklin, who, if I had my choice, or if there was ever a mayor of Wareham, I would definitely move to Wareham and vote for him to be mayor of Wareham. That's what I call him, as a joke with the mayor anyways. But I tell you, the kids love Gil Franklin. As most of us know, a true leader is a better listener than talker. A true leader like Dan Knoll is humble, grateful, and most of all, always ready to help all kinds of people, young and old, whenever needed. Dan Knoll is always shied away from the spotlight and lets his light shine on others always. In summary, Dan Knoll is that man that you want to educate your son, daughter, nephew, brother, sister, whoever, within this lifetime. God bless the Dan Knolls and Gil Franklins of this world, because they serve and continue to serve with compassion, purpose, faith, and love at all times. Congratulations, Mr. Knoll. Welcome to Wareham's Hall of Fame. Wareham loves you, but not as much as me, Gil, and Muldoon.
I can't public speak like David. Thank you for doing this for me, David. I don't know anybody else who likes to public speak as much as you.
Not really.
Thank you to the committee for this honor. When I left Wareham 9 years ago, I never thought I'd be standing here. I also have to thank my wife, Sherry. There are probably people in the room that understand what a football wife is. You're not home until 7 in the fall. You're home after 5:36 in the winter. You're leaving early to open the weight room. And thank God my boys play baseball, because I might have had to make a decision to, baseball in the spring I could be there, and I would have probably not been able to coach. Coaching Wareham kids has always been a special thing. When I first walked in the room, it was obvious they want to play football. They love it. They need the structure. They want to be around the adults that coach it well, and care about them, which is why when Gil left, Gil, you were one of my mentors too. I'll never forget some of the things that you helped me through. I can't leave here without saying something about Anthony. Anthony, you were the only player I've ever gotten hate mail over. I got a letter from New Bedford Vote because their center was abused. I've also had to speak to other coaches. Coach Gibo was the coach at Case High School at the time, and his son was the center, and I think his name was Rob, but now all the kids were calling him Pez. You know, the little candy dispenser? That was Anthony. I remember you as a 7th or 8th grader, and we happened to be playing Case, so you had something on them. You were shaking the chain link. We were on the 5 coming in right near the middle school, and they couldn't look at us. They were looking at you because who knows what you were saying to them, but I could hear from the sideline, I could hear the chain link rattle. And, when you played for us, yeah, you were fun to coach. That's all I'd like to say.
Thank you, Dan, and congratulations. Our final induction tonight will be a group induction for the 1994 girls field hockey team. Yeah, all right. I think there were 1 or 2 who were here, so that's really awesome. And here to introduce you and to induct you is Coach Sue Tabor, who's the coach of the team. You also coach my daughter as well, so Coach Tabor, come up here and take it away.
So, good evening, and I would like to start by congratulating tonight's inductees, many of whom I've watched their careers either as classmates, people I've grown up with in town, or students, as I've been part of the Viking history since 1989. Also, I'd like to thank the committee for the endless hours that it takes contacting, reaching out, planning, keeping Viking tradition alive in your personal time. We wouldn't be here without you, so thank you. It is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce the 1994 Wareham field hockey team. This group of athletes was the epitome of the word team, as their success was not based on 1 or 2 plays, but the work and dedication of everyone. Field hockey was a sport that none of these athletes played before they entered high school. It was simply their desire as a group to work together to become a dominant force. During the off-season, they attended camps, played Bay State games, played summer league to improve their skills and to bond as a team. This team was dedicated to improving and representing Wareham High School as athletes and scholars. We entered the 94 season after having won back-to-back SCC championships in 92-93. With 9 starters returning, our expectations were set. However, we took a 1-0 loss to OR in the season opener, a 1-0 loss to Dayton the same week, and we had to turn the ship around. We went on a 6-game winning streak, shutting out outscoring opponents 15-0, and never lost another league game. Our losses that year came to Harwich, who was the #1 seed in the tournament. We were their only tie in their season. We played them down there 2-2. We purposely picked up a tough schedule to make ourselves ready. The 94 team made the deepest run in the state tournament for any team in program history, advancing to the sectional finals. We opened the tournament with a win at home against West Bridgewater. We traveled to Hull and defeated the #2 seed and returned to our home field. While our home field was unavailable for our last game, there was construction. They said, "We didn't think you'd win." We went and argued our case and played our game on Spillane. We dominated. We wiped Westport off. The girls had been asking for years to play on, we call it the Pride Lands, the home field of Spillane. After our 6-0 victory, we moved on to the sectional finals and played Harwich, who we had played during the season. We dominated that game, but we ended up giving up the only goal we gave up in the tournament with 4 minutes left to finish what was an unbelievable season. During the senior season of field hockey, our team members were honored as SCC All-Stars, Standard Times All-Stars, Brockton Enterprise All-Stars, and Boston Globe All-Stars. The team of athletes was proud to be Vikings and participated in multiple sports. 8 were 3-sport athletes, 5 were 2-sport athletes, and they were team leaders. 10 of them went on to captain their varsity teams at Wareham High School. They used their time as athletes to move forward in their lives. 100% of my team went on to continue in college, and 10 competed in either Division 1, 2, or 3 athletics. 2 played multiple sports, 6 played field hockey. We had rugby players, we had Division 1 softball players. They were athletes that took their time as Vikings to make their lives better. In their adult lives, this group includes nurses, teachers, counselors, police officers, and businesswomen. They give back to their communities and remain as bonded friends as a result of their Wareham High School sports experience. I have enjoyed watching them hand down the traditions and the importance of athletics through watching their children also succeed in sports. This team represents the best of what high school teams are. The opportunity to work together, represent their school with honor and pride. This team of athletes set the standard of excellence at Wareham High School. Do I need to call them up? Okay. I'm going to call them up and ask them to remain up here. I'm going to start with my offensive line, captained by Jill Remick Damiani. My leading scorer, also a member of Wareham High School Hall of Fame in her own right, Jody Maxson. Julie Remick, yes. Playing on the wing, Julie Remick Mazzola. A player of multiple spots, one of my floaters, playing offense and defense, Julie Gamble Vargas. The nucleus, the middle of the team, the strengths, the guts, I have to call them up together because there'd be no better pair of links than Captain Cheryl Gilpatrick and Tiffany Perry. The defense to the Lady Vikings, which gave up 12 goals in an entire season. Oh, my defensive captain's not here, so it threw me for a minute. Halfback, Jennifer Cornwell. Halfback, Bridget Joint Kearns. Halfback, Shannon Gomes de Jesus. The last 2 lines of defense, my sweeper, Jem Muldoon. and my amazing goalie, Kristen Santiago. And also present is our assistant coach, Kyle Romano.
Who gives the speech?
No, Denise.
We all do. Not it. Not it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can we get the other inductees up so we can get a team photo? The other 7, I believe, can you all come up here and we can get a photograph? And last call for raffle, you want to buy any raffle tickets? Over there on the side for a good cause. We can get you all up here. How you want to do this?
And before we all go, we're gonna still need to find out who the lucky winners of the raffle are. Everybody stick around for a few more minutes until we get the raffle under control. order of business done, and then we can socialize some more. Okay, first up is the night at the Rosebrook, and we'll have somebody here pull the ticket. Oh, we gotta get some kids up here to be the official raffle drawers. Okay, the winner of the raffle for the night at the Rosebrook Inn is a blue ticket. It is number 6788190. 6788190. That's for the Rosebrook, the night at the Rosebrook. And we have a winner. Oh, you want to check that? Yeah. You are a winner. Congratulations. Next up, we have another blue ticket with a gift certificate to Minerva's. The number is 6788095. 6788095. And we have a winner. Oh, it's 10. All right, well, we're rooting for it. Next up, we have the gift certificate to Bailey's. The number here is the blue ticket, 6788214. And we have a winner. Next we have gift certificate at Bay Point Country Club. Let's pull it over here, and we have the ticket. It is a blue ticket. And the number is 6788159. 159, the last three numbers. Gift certificate to Bay Point Country Club. All right, we have a winner. Next up is a basket of cheer, and the number is 6788098. Hey, he gets it. Yeah, let's check it out here. Give those tickets in. 098, looks like a winner. And the last raffle is for the 50-50 prize, $65 in cash. And you can pick it up ticket here, a white ticket this time. The winner of the 50-50 raffle, white ticket, 2042780. 780, the last three numbers. The white ticket. Yes, we have a winner stepping forward. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our induction ceremony. Thank you all for coming. I hope to see a lot of you back here in 2 years. And with that, we'll say good night, and again, thank you. Congratulations to all the inductees.